Hello there and welcome to this evening's Valence League stream, which is Division 3's semi-finals playoff game between Built By Us Academy and Team Roccet Academy. I am the Cub and I am joined by the one and only Viking. Viking,
Hello.
how are you doing today, mate?
I am doing very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Looking forward to some good competitive League of Legends action. Should be a competitive game. Both teams were 5-1 in their respective groups, I believe, or was it 4-1? My mistake. 4-1, 5-1.
5-1. Yeah, I think it is. Yes.
Nice, nice.
And this is the first playoffs we had in Div 3 so far, I think.
Yeah, the other game is also tonight. Yeah, that's actually scheduled for a half an hour later. So yeah, both playoffs games in the Division 3s tonight. We'll know who's in the final later on tonight. Of course, it's a best of 5, minimum 3 games, but considering both teams at the group top of their group, both of them have a good OPGG. You know, look as though there's a lot of prio picks and things. I don't expect it to be a one-sided game. Thankfully, I'm looking forward to a competitive game.
Yes. And we should be going into draft in a second now. There we go. And we have Team Roccet Academy on blue side.
Okay, so Team Roccet having the first pick. In my opinion, the main first pick, contested picks these days right now is kind of the flex pick 6 or maybe Viego contest, and then again Tamkench. For me, that's the big 3.
Yeah.
And then there's also the Ash. Ash has been pretty meta, pot him off both in solo queue and team play.
Yeah.
We've seen it in Division 1 matches also.
So I think Ash has been a very good pick against Special 6, since she naturally can build the Wit's End item, which is very strong at the moment.
Yeah. Thankfully, I've got yourself for the bot lane knowledge, but I've seen it in pro play here and there, like LNG. They were picking Vayne into Ziggs in bot lane.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a
yeah, I saw it. I think they played it yesterday, if I don't remember wrong, in the G2 versus Fnatic game.
I know Vayne was played in game 4. I don't know who that was by Reckless. I don't know who. I think I actually kind of had the results spoiled by social media, unfortunately, so I didn't really pay attention to it much. But it's interesting. Most of the picks we said, all of the picks are not banned. There's a lot of first picks open here. Yeah. Zinzao as well. We didn't mention him, but there's Viego, Zinzao, Ziggs, Tamkench. All these champs are open.
Yeah. Even Trundle is open as well.
Trundle, yeah. I mean, Papa Sexy played Trundle twice last week in their last game before going into playoffs.
Okay, Viego first pick. I wonder if they will flex it or if it will be decided into the jungle.
Yeah. This thing is, Victor's open, so that it's not a flex pick. I mean, I guess it used to be potentially, but I think in this case, everyone knows that's going mid.
Yeah. It is Stingy's best champion by far, I think.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what Roccet play into it. I know last week he played Malzahar and Anivia and had some good games.
Zinzao. I wonder if we'll see the Trundle then, because I think at least in pro play, Trundle has picked a lot into Zinzao as a counter to it.
Yeah, it's definitely a good kind of a response. Yeah.
But it would be kind of awkward to put it in the jungle though, since they already have the Viego, and playing Viego in a solo lane is kind of, it's been nerfed a lot.
Yeah. Viego pretty much is. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago we were saying Viego triple flexed all the time, but now it is only jungle with the nerfs coming into the minions.
Yeah. FLS Rush is a very common bot lane matchup, I would say. Like you can blind it to most of the things. Or in top lane. Interesting.
Yeah, the Thresh and Aphelios is quite a good bot lane. Like Aphelios is just so scary late game, can do so much in team fights, and then the Thresh is a good overall champion, can keep him safe in lane, gives him good peel. Yeah, Ornn top lane, good safe pick. Ornn and Victor are, the stereotypical good late game champs, working together in good team fights. The Trundle ban coming in, quite a good ban as we said.
Could it be potentially a flex with Ornn? to put it bot lane together with a Senna or something.
I mean, I doubt it unless it's something they've been practicing in, scrims here and there, but probably not. You know them better than me, maybe.
I have no idea actually. I don't speak into their scrims anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to some inside information, but I can't do that to the boys.
Yeah, I have no idea. I would fully suspect it's definitely going top. So we've got the bot lane remaining. Whilst Team Rocket have picked their bot lane, so it's kind of interesting the way the picks have been going. I do find that interesting comparing like these type of drafts compared to pro play, because pro play usually, like in these drafts, it's always jungle and bot lane first free, whereas in pro play, a lot of time like they just pick up the main contested picks like Rise, Twisted Fate, so they're not worrying about hiding picks, they're worried about picking up the contested picks.
Yeah, I think something that I find a lot in pro play is that they usually pick mid lane before second ban phase. Which we very rarely see in VL, since it's seems to be more prioritized to have a good matchup mid and top than to have specific prior picks.
Yeah. And as I just said, those were the two main champs that kind of came to my mind in terms of securing prio picks. Rise has been played a lot lately. As I said, I didn't actually watch too much of the G2 Infinitic game. I watched all of Game 5 just to kind of see how the momentum swung, and I knew it was Game 5. Unfortunately, the result was spoiled, but Rise, and he's very picked in pro play a lot. I'm watching a lot of like LPL and LCK playoffs these days. I've been watching like all the playoffs actually, and Rise is popping off all the time. He gets an early kill or two, and man, it's so hard for the other team to like survive in team fights. He's such a good champion. So the Rise has been secured, as well as Tamkench, two very strong solo laners. The Rise and Viego are carry style team champs, in team fights, as well as Ophelia, so they've got a lot of late game security in terms of this champ can pop off, this champ can pop off, and who knows, maybe even the Tamkench pop off. So I'd say they've got a scary team comp. But then looking at built by us, they have a very good team comp also. They've got a lot of team synergy, a lot of CC, good tankiness. I don't think there's like a bad pick, like a hole in either game. It's quite interesting to see how this will play out.
Yeah, I think like if Bryce kind of comes online when it gets like 3 items or something, and PB have a lot of engage. Like they have the Ornn ultimate, they have the Xin Zhao, they have the Varus ultimate, they have the Alistar engage. They have a lot of tools to get to the backline or just start a fight whenever they want. So the question is if they have enough tools with the Tamkench and the Thresh to protect their carries in the fights, I think.
Yeah. Tamkench and Thresh can definitely help peel. Well, still other champs are there, but at the same time Alistar can peel. Ornn could. The Victor can kind of peel himself sometimes. They've got good ways of starting the fights as well. If the Ornn ult, Varus' ult, Xin can engage. So I definitely think both comps are quite good, strong comps. Both of them have good scaling.
You're a jungle mate. What do you think about the Xin Zhao versus Viego matchup?
That's literally what I was about to touch on, so good point to bring it up. I think it's insane. Both teams have got good late game scaling and team fights. Xin Zhao definitely has the upper hand in being proactive in the early game. Viego, not so much. He actually does have good farming on his camps, but in terms of playmaking and making things happen early game, unless it's like a very easy fight that's set up or someone's really pushed, like it's hard for him to really force something to happen unless maybe he comes in with like a W flash, but it's going to be a lot easier for Xin Zhao to create a gank, make something happen, and if they bump into each other and no one is assisting, I definitely think Xin Zhao wins the straight up 1v1 just with the W double proc. Free Qs, like he's just got a lot more damage to quickly proc his Conqueror in like a straight up 1v1. But then Tamkench and Rise both have their mobility with the Rise ultimate, the Tamkench W. So I think Viego has a bit more chance of his teammates actually helping him. There's the fresh lantern. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I would definitely say Viego's looking to kind of avoid Xin, play around his teammates, play around the scaling, not worry about risking an early objective in terms of falling behind. That's how I would view this, since I was looking to be a bit more confident and maybe aggressive early, but at the same time he can't fall behind and overly trying to gank and then missing out his camps. Viego is happier if it's, 0-0 in terms of kills and assists. He's wanting to scale and sit back and get those pop-off team fights.
Yeah, I think that's kind of interesting because both Rice and Victor kind of just want to scale and get their items, but they both have their individual ways of helping or what do you call it, gank setup. In order, and both Sinsao and Viego does really well with gank setup.
Viego also has some interesting souls to take over, because let's say Alistar goes in first and he dies. He's got the Alistar to W forward and then use his ultimate in, and then the same with the Sinsao. If Sinsao goes in early and dies and Viego takes over, he can engage with the